Let's turn GTA 5 Liberty City mod into real-life New York with a bunch of mods. Even though the Liberty City Preservation Project isn't publicly available anymore after that whole takedown situation, I still boot it up from time to time. There's something about seeing Liberty City in GTA 5's engine that just never gets old, even in its base form. But let's be honest, it still feels stuck somewhere between GTA 4 and 5. That's why I wanted to push it further, take it closer to what modern New York actually looks like, and see how far we can take it. So let's get straight into it. First thing we gotta fix is the graphics. Liberty City in GTA 5 still carries that weird GTA 4 yellow tint, and this time I'm not going for any lore-friendly vibe. I just want it to look like real-life New York, so I went with Quant 5. Instantly, everything looks way cleaner. We've got animated raindrops on vehicles that look crazy good. Then there are volumetric clouds that honestly feel like they were ripped straight out of Red Dead 2, or maybe even better. I also played around with lens flares cause there's a bunch to choose from, and I ended up using the one inspired by GTA 6, along with another called Lightstreak. And there's plenty of other effects that just makes the whole look complete and perfectly fit Liberty City. Alright, so graphics are sorted, and it's time to move on. And next up on the list is vehicles. Because let's be honest, you can tweak the visuals all you want, but if you're still driving around in lore-friendly cars, it's never gonna feel like real New York. So I installed the Central Real Life New York City Traffic mod, and this one changes everything. Right after loading in, the difference is massive. The city actually feels like New York now. There's a ton of different cars driving around, and it even seems like certain neighborhoods get different types of vehicles. Like you'll see more beaters in some areas and expensive stuff in others, which just feel real. There are 9 different police cars now, which is way more than what Rockstar gave us. And they're not just sitting around, they all show up when you get wanted. There's even a smart car in the mix, which looks ridiculous at first, but it's actually legit. NYPD used those things for a while, so it's not just some random modder being goofy. Taxis also got upgraded, which is a big deal, since New York basically runs on them. You'll see a Ford Fusion, the classic Crown Vic, and a Prius taxi driving around. Just spotting more of them in traffic makes the streets feel way more realistic. And just looking at regular traffic, it finally makes sense now. You've got some beat-up old Escalades, Teslas cruising around like it's nothing, a few Lambos, some BMWs, muscle cars here and there. It's not overdone. It's not like GTA Online where every car on the street is some modded supercar. This actually looks how a city like New York would. Everything looks great so far, but there's still something missing. Real-life road textures. I mean, just look at the default ones we've got here. They're decent for GTA 4 standards, but they don't really give you that proper New York street feel. So I installed Liberty City Road Overhaul, which is basically a port of an old GTA 4 mod made by DKT70. I remember using it back in the GTA 4 modding era. It was a must-have back then. And now in GTA 5 it looks much better. Definitely feels a bit closer to real New York streets. It could have a bit more damage and patchwork here and there, but yeah, it's still better than the original ones. Now that we've got the roads done, the next step is swapping out the traffic signals for actual New York ones. At first, I found a mod that replaces them, but it's made for the vanilla Los Santos map. Luckily, one of the modders, AY, went ahead and ported them to work with the Liberty City Preservation Project. So now, we've got traffic lights that look way more like the real ones in New York. It's not something you usually think about when trying to make the game more realistic, but I'm taking this seriously, and once you see the difference, you can't really unsee it. These lights just fit the city so much better. We're not stopping there, and since we're already deep into making the map feel more like real-life New York, there's another mod that helps a lot, the Great NYPD Stations Pack. Just like the name says, it replaces the old LCPD stations with real New York ones. I had a bit of trouble getting it to work at first, but I finally got it installed, and yeah, it looks great. One thing that still needed fixing though was the cops themselves. They're still wearing the old LCPD badge, which doesn't really match the new stations. But of course, the community already thought of that. There's an updated texture pack for the uniforms. The quality isn't the best, but it does the job. I also couldn't resist installing the Times Square Real Billboards mod, because let's be honest, it's one of the most iconic places in all of New York. And with this mod, Times Square is packed with real brands everywhere you look. We've got Dunkin' Donuts, Marriott Hotel, Coca-Cola, Honor, M&M's, HBO, Visa, H&M, and the list just keeps going. If you live in New York, or you've been to Times Square recently, let me know how accurate this feels, because some of these ads, like the one with Red Dead 2, kinda look like they've been stuck in 2018. Now onto something that was definitely missing from the city skyline, the World Trade Center Towers. The mod that adds them was recently updated, so a lot of the old bugs have been fixed, and honestly, it looks great. The plaza area feels alive. You'll see NPCs sitting on benches, taking photos, and just hanging out. The towers fit into the city perfectly, both during the day and at night. You can even explore the interior, and there are NPCs walking around inside too. The elevators don't work, but the rooftop is accessible, and yeah, it's one of those mods that really makes a difference. This time, instead of adding a building, we're replacing one, the Statue of Liberty. It's just as iconic in the New York skyline, and in Liberty City, it's called the Statue of Happiness. Rockstar actually did a decent job with it. They changed a few details and even threw in that weird Hillary Clinton Easter egg, but at night, it just looks kind of dull. The lighting isn't great, and overall, it doesn't really stand out. Since we're going for realism here, there's no point in waiting, so I replaced it with the real one. Now it actually looks like the proper Statue of Liberty. It's much better lit at night, and when you pair it with the WTC Towers, it makes the whole skyline feel way more complete. And for anyone curious, yes, it's enterable. And yup, the giant beating heart inside is still there. Crazy Easter egg. The last building on my list is the Get a Life building. Rockstar turned the real MetLife building into a parody for Liberty City, but there's a mod that swaps it back to the real thing, and honestly, it fits perfectly. Seeing the proper MetLife building in the skyline makes the whole city feel even closer to the real New York. The only thing left to change now was Franklin's outfit. Since he's basically a tourist in New York for this video, I went with the only right choice. And there it is, our New York City simulator straight from Temu. On top of everything, I also added my Quant 5 Natural Reshade preset to wrap up the look, and not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Of course, there's still a lot more that could be done to make it even closer to real NYC, but we're running low on mods, especially since the Liberty City mod isn't being updated anymore. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.